Hello everyone, we are from Group 2 and we are going to present about Historicism. The first material is about the definition of Historicism. Historicism is literary criticism that is viewed from historical evidence or based on the context in which a work is written. Besides, it's also including facts about the author's life and historical and social conditions at that time. Then, in historicism, there is also new historicism. Thus, this is the difference between historical criticism and new historicism. Historical criticism is understanding the author to understand their literary works, like background, biography, ideas at the time of life and their environment. While new historicism explores meaning in text based on the historical era it was created, like the ideas and assumptions of the time. And also, New Historicism focuses on revealing the historically specific model of truth. There are several experts who have big influence related to historicism. First, there is Michel Foucault. He was a historian and philosopher, and also his work was the most influential in New Historicism. Foucault examined and talked about the connection between different interests in his criticism, equally social, political, and cultural affairs, and also literature plays a big part in historical criticism. Moreover, his highest achievement in a 1970 position as a professor of history of systems of thought at France's most reputable university, the Collège de France. Foucault also concerned in power and social change. Particularly, he examined how this played out as France shifted from a monarchy and democracy through the French Revolution. These are the Michel Foucault's works related to his ideas. First, in the history of sexuality, Foucault implied that knowledge and power are intimately engaged. Accordingly, he composed the term of power or knowledge to point out that one is not separate from the other. Also, in his 1975 book entitled Discipline and Punish, Foucault stated that French society had reconfigured punishment through the new human practices of the discipline and surveillance. It is also used in new institutions such as prisons, the mental asylums, schools, workhouses, and the factories.
Second, Stephen Greenblatt. He is a humanity professor in Harvard University. He was influenced by Raymond William and Michael Foucault that drove him to combine their different approaches. He was the co-founder of Representation while he was teaching at the University of California, Berkeley. He is also considered as one of the foremost scholars of Renaissance literature. He is the author of Renaissance self-fashioning. This is one of the leading examples of the new historicism. He perfected his new approach to charting social forces and their literary effect in the Shakespearean negotiation. However, it was his introduction to the power of forms in the English Renaissance that spurred the growth of the new historicism. In this introduction, Greenblatt explained what he called the new historicism. Next, Renaissance Self-Fashioning from Moore to Shakespeare by Stephen Greenblatt. In this work, he studied the life and the literature of the 16th century that assembled the era of scientific analysis. Greenblatt examined the self-structure evidence in the main literary figures of the English Renaissance. They are Moore, Tyndale, Yeats, Spenser, Marlowe, and Shakespeare. He also investigates them in the early modern period.
And the next is Louis Montrose. Louis Montrose is an American literary theorist and academic scholar. He is a professor of English literature at the University of California, San Diego. Montrose is early critic in historicism. He is well known for his work in Renaissance theater and poetry. Professing the Renaissance, the poetics and politics of culture. In this work, Louis Montrose defines new historicism as textuality of history and the historicity of text. This means history is textual, but the texts are also historical. Textuality of history means that history is a textual narrative which dependent to the historian's circumstance as well as the social, political, economic, and cultural factors of the era when it was written. While historicity of text means works on fiction also represented the history of the time when it was produced. How does the theory apply? Well, we have to raise this question first. 1. Who was the author? 2. How did his or her life influence the work? 3. What was the time period of the text like? 4. How does its settings influence meaning? And 5. How is the detailed time period? That's all from our group. Thank you for watching and see you next time.